Yeah, how to choose the right Webflow template. So if you're new to Webflow, and you're just jumping in, welcome. But then there's a lot of people who are marketers or graphic designers who don't want to start from a blank template because you're just trying to get into this no code world. And I understand. It's confusing because it's like, wait, everything was all about code and now you're telling me don't use code? What are we doing? So I get it. So you're jumping into Webflow, and the first thing you want to do is like, let me just start from a template because it's easier to dip my toe in, and something's already built for me. The layout's already done, and all of these look pretty. So I'm just gonna buy one or clone one and just change stuff and call it a day. But hold on, before you do that, I want to tell you the steps to choosing the right Webflow template for you, your portfolio site, or your business, or for your client. All right. So, do not, number one, do not go here. Do not go to webflow.com/templates. That should not be your first step. And the reason why is because your first step should be finalizing your copy, finalizing your content and your images and your colors. The colors and the images and the content should not be coming from the template. These templates are designed in a very generic way. All right. They're meant to be a one size fits most type of deal. So you probably hear this before, but content is king. Yes, content is king. Make sure that the words, the copy of your website is complete. Then make sure that you have the supporting images, whether it be for your portfolio site, photos, a headshot of yourself, images of your case studies, of your before and afters, like if you worked on a website for your client and this is what their website looked like before, and after you finished it, this is what it looks like after, or logos that you've done. You have like sketches, you have some rough drafts, or UX case studies where you're doing a full flow and you have like all these sketches of how you did your stuff. So have all that stuff ready to go before even going to webflow.com/templates. All right. And oh man, wait. Okay, there we go. Okay. All right. So don't go to webflow.com/templates before having your content ready. All right. So that's step one. Don't go to webflow.com/templates. Step two, finalize your content and images, colors. Oh, and your wireframes. All right. Make sure that you have some sort of organized way to lay out your content as people are scrolling down the page. Step three, that is when you go to webflow.com/templates. Okay? So this is when you get here and you're like, okay, now that I have my content ready, I want to see which one will fit the content that I have. So this is where, you're in the store and you're browsing. You're like, which one will fit? So if you're new to Webflow, you've never dived into Webflow before, this may start to get confusing for you because everything looks really good. Like say I want to start from, let's go to kickback. I don't know, I'm just choosing a random one. So I'm going to go to this and you're like, ooh, I like it. Let me see what it looks like in the browser. So you go here and you're like, oh my God, everything looks good. Everything looks super clean. And you know what? This works for me. But before you even click buy, there's this button right here. Click on Preview Designer. Okay, so when you click on Preview Designer, you're actually entering the Webflow UI. So this is the actual template built inside of Webflow, and you can actually manipulate the whole template. However, none of your changes will be saved. So when you go to a different page or refresh the browser, none of your changes that you've made to play around with this template will be saved because it's a read-only mode. right? So when you're here, things start to get confusing. Even if you click on this big headline right here and you're like, what is all this? Okay. And so you might be thinking, all right, I want to move, I want to change some words. So you can double click, change some words. Oh, okay. That's easy. Now, if you want to do a different layout, like, hey, I want to put this to the left and I want to put this to the right. I want like a 2-column look. You can't just drag it anywhere you want. So things start to get confusing because you're like, hey, I'm dragging stuff, but it's not, I want a 2-column thing. Webflow is different. All right. This is when you would have to understand how to use Webflow. And there's so many resources out there to help you get started with Webflow. However, if you're just diving into Webflow and you need to get a website out quickly, templates are the way to go, but don't expect to fully customize the layout to what you need. All right. Because you need to understand the fundamentals of web design, which is HTML and CSS, and you also need to understand how to use Webflow. And Webflow is a way to take the power of HTML and CSS and manipulate web pages without writing that code. So that's where the whole no code thing comes in. All right. So a lot of marketers and graphic designers get confused by this because they're trying to move things on the canvas as they would like on Figma, Sketch, Photoshop or something. No, Webflow doesn't work like that, right? But look through their pages. Go through each of these pages and scroll down and see if the flow of the content fits the flow of your content, okay? So there's the content of the template and there's your content. Because as you can see, you can double click easily and change words. And that is the easiest, most straightforward way to manipulate a template. Just double click something, even images, replace image, and there you go. Or replace text. But if you want to start messing around with layouts, that's when it gets tricky. All right, so go through each page and see if the flow of content makes sense. What's cool about Webflow, though, is that if you see a layout, for example, this has 2 columns, I'm like, yeah, we want this 2 columns to be higher. We want it to be like right after the first row. There's this navigator right here where you can navigate around all of the elements on the page. And yes, there's a lot, but this is the same thing as writing code. Okay, so I'm going to take this section and I can actually just bring it up 2 sections. Click and drag, and there we go. Actually, you want to put this up even more. There we go. So now, let me pin it real quick. There we go. So now this section is row number 2. And if you like this row, you like that 2-column row, you can copy and paste it. And so now I have 2 of the exact same layouts. And also I can change the text however I want. So this is how you would start to manipulate without customizing completely the layout. You can take whatever layout that the template has and copy and paste it into anywhere else. All right. So if you see a layout on a completely different page, you can still copy that section from one page and go over to another page anywhere in that same project and paste it anywhere you want. All right. So this is a way for you to take whatever's already built and play and kind of play around with the layout that fits your content. Okay. So again, look through all the pages, look through all their layouts. There's a lot to choose from, a lot to look through. And so really, really research the template that you want. Okay. Another thing to do when you're going through all of these templates is, and I'm going to make this really as clear as possible. Ignore all of the colors on the template. Ignore that it's a dark theme. Ignore that it's a light theme. Ignore that it's pastel colors. Ignore all the colors. Okay, so that's the next part. The other thing to ignore is images. All right, ignore all of the images, all the photography, all the stock images. Ignore all of that in a template. Those images are just there to make things look nice and clean and polished. They are not there for you. They're there to help sell the template. All right. There's many times when people, including myself, have been enticed. A long time ago, I used to buy Flash. Remember Flash? It already died last year, but I remember trying to make my own portfolio site, and I would go to templatemonster.com and just buy Flash intros and Flash websites. And then at the end of during the middle of manipulating the Flash template, I'd be like, why doesn't this look good? And then I realized, now I realize, oh, it doesn't look good because I don't have the right images. Like, the images don't look polished. My images that I'm uploading aren't good. So again, ignore those images. Those are not for you. You have to see what it looks like with your images. Now, the thing with the Webflow read-only mode is that you can't upload your own images and see how it looks. So you're just gonna have to take the template how it is right there and try to imagine what your images will look like inside of that template. Also, those colors. Okay. And lastly, ignore any of the animations. If the Webflow template has any flashy animations, parallax scrolling, mouse movement, parallax, hover, any type of preloaders, any of those things, ignore them. Again, ignore them, because those animations might not be for you. It might not help sell your content. It might even distract from your content. Okay, so again, ignore the colors because you can change them. All right, ignore the images because you'll have to change them, and ignore the images because they might not work for you. All right, so just look for templates that fit your content. All right, moving on. I already went through that. Let's see here. Oh, okay. I'll throw my, how satisfied are you with Notion? Very satisfied. Okay. So what are the different types of templates you can get? So you can get UI kits. And what UI kits are is very big templates, right? Very big templates that have a lot inside of them. So for example, if you go here, again, if you turn off preview mode and then you go to the navigator panel, you'll see that there's a lot to look through. So if I scroll down, there's different layout sections. There's different types of landing pages. If you go here, there's many different types of landing pages, many different types of child pages. Like, for example, things with search, or things with a right side content box. There's things with contact pages, and there's so many layouts to choose from. And so UI kits is really good if you just want a huge amount of layouts that you can just copy and paste into your pages. Okay, so yeah, this one is, I mean, look at how many pages you get. Crazy. See, and if you need different sections, like say I want a section like, so here are hero rows. Hero row is like the first row of your pages. So here's one you can copy paste. Here's another section. Here's another. So yeah, So many things that this template designer has created, and it's really, really nice. But again, these illustrations might not work for you. These photos are not for you. This right here, this Trust Pilot thing, that's fake because this does not have a Trust Pilot. None of the Webflow templates have any third party. They're not allowed to have any third party widgets installed. So don't think that Trust Pilot is already installed on this. It's not. If you see any templates that have any like fake Instagram feeds or Facebook feeds or whatever, any third party widget that is designed inside of these templates, they're fake. All right. You need to add them yourself. And usually third party widgets are a third party payment that you have to sign up for. Like, for example, for an Instagram feed, you would either need to do it through Zapier or was it Light Feed or Light Widget or something like that, where you have to pay $10. So yeah. But there's so many things to play around with. All right. So yeah, UI kit's good if you just want a bunch of sections that already have layouts already pre-built for you. There's also portfolio ones, and this one I chose to show you because it's really nice and simple. So it's the artist, and again, you can just easily manipulate any of these things or even choose a different homepage. So you have 5 homepages to work with. Like this one. It's very clean. You know, and one thing I didn't like about this template though, again, I am not a fan of anyone who uses percentages for their portfolio sites, because this means nothing. What is 41% of lead generation? Like, who has ever made it to 100%? Because once there's like a 90%, if someone's at 90, that means that there's something beyond 100% because there's always something new to learn. No one is 100% in web development or illustration. Like, who knows 100% of every single type of web development code out there? There's always a new one every day. Does anyone know 100% of CSS? No. So I would definitely delete this section. And if you have a section like this on your current portfolio page, please delete it. No one. This means nothing. It means nothing. I'm just being honest. It means nothing. But this artist one right here, besides this part, really, really nice. Okay. Here, let me help. Cool. Gone. All right. So there's those. And another cool thing about these templates is they're already mobile responsive. So, I mean, you don't have to do much. Okay. Lastly, e-commerce. Okay, so CMS e-commerce type of templates. So when you get one of these, you immediately already have CMS collections created for you. Okay, so this helps you so you don't have to create these databases, aka Webflow collections, from the beginning. They're already pre-made. The structure is already pre-made for you. So all you have to do is fill it in. But if you need to start adding new custom fields, then you'll need to start understanding how to use Webflow collections and how to structure it and what each collection field means. But if you're okay with what's there already, and that's why I'm saying research the template before you even buy it, go through it and see, does my content, if like I have a blog, does the content fit the blog structure? Or will I need to add or delete any of the database fields or collection item fields? All right. And everything is already preset for you when it comes to say, e-commerce. For example, this right here, you have your collection list and it's showing all of your products. Okay. And the products are not shown in the CMS collection, but they're actually shown in here, the shopping cart. So if I go to products, then all of those fake products are already in here. So again, if your store content fits this structure, then you're good to go. If it doesn't, but you still like this template, then you'll need to change some stuff about the product structure, database structure, before you get into this. Okay? So those are the type of things. Let's see here. Two more things. Yeah, two more things. So now that you understand what to look for when it comes to a template, let me show you some templates that I like, that I would strongly recommend. And then I'll show you some templates that I don't recommend if you're new to Webflow. So this first one right here is by Mackenzie Child, and I am using it for pixelgeek.community. It's the tele video website template. And the reason why I like this is because if I preview it, look at that. No animations. Let me go here. Scroll down. Look at that. No animations. I mean, there's an animation for a hover, but there's no fancy preloader. There's no crazy parallax scrolling. It's just very straight to the point type of layout. Straight to the point. It's big. You have sticky position. And another reason why I like it is if I go to components, you have a folder for components, I have different choices for the hero row. Do I like a two-column row? Yes. And he uses grid instead of flexbox, which I'm a huge fan of. Grid all day. If you're going to use flexbox, I would suggest flexbox inside of a grid. And I think I've explained it in a previous YouTube video, but yeah. And if you're asking questions right now, Colleen is taking notes for me, jotting them down, and I'll answer them after I'm done with these steps. But yeah, so Telly is really, really, really good. Again, it's so straightforward. Like if you want testimonials, there, you got them. You can just copy the whole section and you're done. Okay? There's nothing fancy about it, you know? And to me, that's what I like. For a portfolio site, I like this one, Nero, and my virtual assistant's brother actually used this for her, and I'm like, oh, this is nice. Again, let me preview it. Simple animations, okay? It's not too crazy. We don't have parallax scrolling happening, and anyone can just simply double click, change the hero row, or change the photo of themselves. Double click, change the type. I mean, it is clean. I would strongly recommend this one. Okay, so Nero. And look at that. There's only 2 pages, but I mean, you have different variations. But if you're just starting out with Webflow, this is a great place to start because it's simple. Don't fall in love with the crazy ones because the crazy ones will mean that there may be some crazy editing involved. All right, so Nero's a good one. The Surface for a startup website is another one that I enjoy. So I would recommend this one. Again, as you can see, you can probably tell right now, simple. Nothing crazy, just straight to the point. Okay, so let me look at a landing page, a random one. All right. Has a nice layout with boxes overlaying each other, but it's not that hard to edit. So if I go here, for example, this one is using grid. Nice. Double click, change the image, double click, change the quote. Good to go. And if it's a slider, you can easily go and slide between the different quotes. Okay. Here we go. So those are the ones I suggest. Tele, Nero, and Surface. Now, what are the ones that I do not suggest? And again, this is not to call out or say don't use these templates. I'm saying if you're new to Webflow, stay away from these templates because they're crazy. If you're advanced in Webflow, then you'll know how to edit this. But if it's your first time inside Webflow and you're getting a template, stay away from these because then you're going to have so many questions and you may get frustrated. You may get frustrated and you're like, why did I pay all this money for this template? And then it's confusing. Here you go. All right. Actually, before I get into this, let me check the questions. See if because there's probably a lot. Let's see here. Let me go to Notion. Oh, actually, no. Go to my other screen. Notion. Okay. Wait, where did it... Oh, there it is. Wait, where's the... No, Colleen, where's the questions? Oh, there you go. You put them in. Okay. Oh, Michael, about the iPad Air. Yes, for fun, you can use a keyboard and mouse with your iPad. Wait, you can? I didn't know that. Brian Fritsch. It's all marketing. Yes. And I like to be as honest as possible when it comes to anything that happens on the internet. Let's see here. General comments related to stream. Okay. Michael saying, but the style sheets can be restyled, and this gives you a fast start. All websites are templates in the end. Exactly. Every website needs building blocks, finally, drop-down heroes, etc. Yep. Okay, unanswered questions. Okay, so nothing else about this topic. So let me finish up this topic, and we'll get on to the other questions. All right. So if you're new to Webflow and you're like, ooh, this one looks really cool. If I preview it, okay, that's pretty cool. There's animation. And then I'm like, if I scroll down, wait, I'm scrolling. Why isn't it scrolling? I'm confused. The reason why is this design is actually a slider. So if I click up and down on this slide, it does that. And it's like, oh, okay, that's different. All right, cool. But I only see this. So how do I edit the slide? Well, if you look at this slide right here, I go like this. I can go in between the slides. Cool. All right, so let's double click and change the name. Change. So this person is actually, my name is John Smith, you know, like, okay, cool. I'm going to change the image. Oh, wait, I'm trying to double click. I can't change the image. I'm clicking. I can't change the image. I'm confused. How do I change the image? Well, the image is actually, it's not even there. It's actually, whoa, where is the, oh, there it is. Hero right. It's actually a background. It's actually a background image on hero right. So, I mean, even if I was confused for a second, how many minutes or even hours will it take for someone who's new to Webflow to understand how to change this image? Now let's go to the next slide. If I go here, I'm like, okay, my mind has already told me that I can double click on the text and change it. So I want to change this. Wait a minute. Why am I clicking and I can't change this? And why is this purple? So this is why I'm like, I don't suggest this for anyone who's new to Webflow, is because this content right here, because it's purple, is actually coming from a CMS collection. And then you would change it here. So you would change all those texts that I showed you in the first slide. You actually have to change it for the other slides here. And it's like, oh, okay. All right, that's cool. So I changed these. But what if I want to delete one or add one? What if I want like 7 on the homepage? Well, if you add one, it won't add it to the homepage. You have to manually add it by copying a slide and pasting it. So copying and pasting a slide, and then you would have to go to the collection list wrapper, change the slide number to equals 05, and now you have slide number 5. And then you would have to do it for slide 6. And if you delete one, then you have to delete a slide. And I think that's easier to do. Yeah, it's easier to do to delete, but then it just gets crazy. So again, there's no dynamic slider inside of Webflow. So that's why I'm like, if you're new, this is not the one for you. All right. Another one to stay away from if you're new, this one. And again, it's because of crazy animations. Okay, so if I preview, all right, that preloader. Okay, so let me make it bigger. Okay, so let me scroll down. So it's pretty cool. Okay, now let's see how to edit it. So I'm gonna double click. Okay, cool. Whoa. Okay, wait. Okay, cool. Okay. So I've edited the text on the back. Now I want to edit this, but significant. I'm double clicking on it. Confusing. I don't want that big word. I don't want to change that big word. I want to change the small word, and so it's because this is overlaying the smaller one. Like, how do I get to the smaller one? I don't know. I don't know. So if I preview, like, what's happening? It says okay, cool. But then the okay, cool is going back to the old word, and it's because this is right here. It says hero heading, and you have to edit it twice. So it's confusing to someone who's new. It doesn't make sense. All right. So, Byra, really cool if you really understand Webflow. Really confusing if you don't. And like, look at all of these letters are a different element that you have to edit. Yeah. Confusing. All right, last one. Agencia. Okay, so this one's pretty nice and clean. All right. So if I preview it, nice and clean. But we have that image that is following me. That's cool. And the image changes based on which line I'm on. Am I on line 1, 2, or 3? All right. So let's go ahead and try to edit it. So I'm like, okay, let's edit the image. Double click. Hero. Wait a minute. How do I edit this image? So double click. I want to replace it. Do I go here and replace it? No. So where do I replace it? Where do I replace it? I don't know. Right? Where you actually replace it is because its component is you click it once and it's here in the symbol overrides. So this is where you can replace the things. For replacing text, you can do that. That's easy. But then this part is kind of hard. Now, if you have a preloader, if you saw that if you preload, cool, it has that thing. What if you want to change the name inside of it? You have to go inside of preloader, and then it's like, okay, I double click preloader, but where is it? I don't see it. It's actually right here. You have to turn it on with Flexbox, and then you can go ahead and change the logo. But if you're just starting out with Webflow, you'd be like, oh, okay, I didn't know that, but thanks for letting me know. And then after that, you have to turn it off. Or else if you leave it on, then you're breaking the interaction. So that's what I'm saying. Again, the 3 things. Ignore colors. You can change them. Ignore images because you'll need to change them. And ignore interactions and animations because it may make things confusing and hard to understand how to update. And if you're just getting into Webflow, just get the ones that are simple. All right. In the end, just like Michael said, websites are just components or just layouts that are just smashed together. So look for the one that fits your content. And if you're looking for free components or templates, then there's a couple places you can try out. You can log into Webflow and click on Showcase, and then click on Clonable. And then lastly, Most Viewed. And there's a bunch of UI kits that you can just click Clone. And there you go. You have it for free. And you can play around with those however you want. Okay? So, clonable stuff. Also, there's this place called flowbase.co where you can get more clonable things. Some are paid for, some are free. All right. Oh, and the clonable ones on Webflow, those are free. The ones here, it depends. Like, I think Hatch you have to pay for now. Can I clone it? Yeah, he turned it off. So, yeah, wait, clone project. Oh, you can still clone it. Cool. So you can clone Hatch for free. The one by Mackenzie Child. The CMS job board, that's free. This pitch one is free. So yeah, there's a lot of free clonable templates that you can get if you're new to Webflow and you just want to still try it out. And pixelgeek.community, I have a bunch of free stuff. Oh yeah, look at that. Don't work. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Cool. So yeah, just look around the internets for free clonables and test it out. And then if you see something that you want to buy from the Webflow templates, then at least you know what to look for before committing to that purchase. Oh, okay. So I know that's a lot of information, but hopefully those 3 things that I explained over and over are the most that you get out of this, which is don't worry about the colors. Don't worry about the images, and don't worry about the animations. You can add all of those later. Just make sure your content fits the template. Okay. All right.